Okay, welcome back. Working on our How to Wire Your Classic or Hot Rod series. So we started off with some basic tools, and now we're going to talk about wiring harnesses. They're all different styles. There's the original OE glass fuse. There's the modern blade fuse styles. There's even some circuit breaker harnesses out there. There's a cloth wiring. There's upgraded harnesses. It kind of depends on what you want to do. And all the several good manufacturers. Some of the ones we've been associated with are Ron Francis, Painless, Quick Wire, American Auto Wire. It's sort of the ones that but there's many good ones out there, and they all have their place. The first thing you need to decide when you're looking at your harness is what are your power requirements, what you want to do, what your final look is going to be. If you're keeping an original style, mechanical fan, mechanical gauges, no major power adders such as power seats or big stereo systems or air conditioning even. If you're going to keep all that stuff kind of basic, just your basic heaters, things like that, any of them are great. When you move up in wiring is when you have to start a little bit more consideration as to what you're looking at. So if you're going to run a 140 amp alternator, you need to run a 6-gauge wire. Otherwise, you're not taking advantage of what your alternator is capable of. If you're going to run extra parts inside, extra seats, extra gauges, extra stereos, extra amplifiers, you need a heavier wire to feed the panel inside. Another thing you have to consider is if you have electric fans or anything else, it's probably going to need a bus bar somewhere. Do you want them hanging off of the battery cable? Or do you want them hanging off a bus bar like this one right here? It's kind of a little harder to see, but it's down here. This is a ground bus, not a power bus, but there it is. How do you want it to look? Most of them, some of them still have the fusible link off the starter. Some of them have a mega fuse style, whether it's the big block fuse or this particular one uses these. This is American Auto Wire harness. It's the reason why we chose it for this truck. It's the true 6-gauge wire, which you may not be able to see on the camera, like this one right here. This is the ground, of course, going to the alternator. So I'm getting all the capability of the alternator out. The 8-gauge wire going to the main panel. Depending on the look you're going for and how you're doing it, if you've got extra hot wires, like I said, you're going to need to use them for a bus. This particular mega style allows us to use these posts down here for our distribution. So they're actually our fans, our alternator. Instead of running it off the starter, I run the panel feed wire off of here. That's the way we set these up. So, but you have to kind of think about it through. So what are you looking for? Quick Wire has a unique feature where they have a little kill switch made on the box. In this particular case, I wired a kill switch up somewhere else. It's hidden. You figure out where it is. I like to keep my battery cables clean. This one also has a cover, it's just not up here. But when these come up here and sit down, there's nothing else hanging off this battery. I like to have enough power to make sure I'm alternating. Now, if I'm running, say, my 58 Rambler with a 40 or 50 amp alternator, this is not as important. A 10-gauge wire, even a 12 in some cases, is all you need. But a 10-gauge wire, at least most of the time, is what you have. So again, feeding your panels, looking at what your power requirements are. This is what we chose. And again, I use this for my distribution panel. I have wired these where I ran a wire out to a separate under the hood fuse panel or distribution block like this bus bar. You can get these in red or black so you can identify what they are. When I wire a car, I'll tell you a little bit more why I use these and how I use them in the next series. But anyway, if you got feedback or if you've had good or bad experiences with other wiring harness companies, feel free to share them. Thank you.